River Punny. What maiden could there be who does not rejoice at the sight of you? What young woman could there be whose heart does not swell with emotion upon beholding your bridal attire and adornments? Just as the maidens of a town naturally gather around a bride, is it not equally natural for young women to flock to you and gather at your banks? Who are these noble ladies seated within this colorful swan-shaped boat, a vessel crafted with such exquisite artistry and wonder? And who is that radiant woman seated at their very center, shining like the full moon amidst the stars, like a queen born to rule over the 7 worlds? And who is that serene beauty seated beside her, holding a veena in her hands? Rather than leaving our readers in a state of suspense and speculation, let us reveal the identities of these 2 women. The lady of majestic bearing is none other than Kundavai, the cherished daughter of King Sundara Chola. She is the sister of Arulmodi Varman, the prince celebrated in history as Raja Raja Chola. She is a noble lady revered by the people as the Princess Royal and the Junior Queen. She is the illustrious Tamil noblewoman who laid the very foundation for the magnificent rise of the Chola Empire. She is the courageous woman who took Raja Raja's son, Rajendra, under her wing, raising him to become a hero among heroes and a king among kings. The other woman is a maiden hailing from the lineage of the minor chieftains of Kodumbalur, one who has sought the privilege of remaining in the company of Princess Kundavai. In the future, she was destined to become a woman of unparalleled fortune, a figure without equal in the annals of history. Today, she stood as the very embodiment of modesty, sweetness, and serenity. One is a lady of majestic bearing, worthy of being hailed as the queen of the 7 worlds. The other is a young woman whose fingers have just danced across the strings of a veena, evoking sweet melodies. Though both are beauties, there is a vast difference between the nature of one's beauty and that of the other. The boat glides along the water and comes to rest at a landing where the trees part slightly to make way. 2 women disembark. These 2 young women stepped ashore from the boat. Turning to her other companions, Kundavai said, "You all remain right here. We shall return within the span of a najigai." These companions were, in fact, princesses born into the palaces of various minor chieftains across the sacred Tamil land. They had come to the palace at Pajayarai, regarding the privilege of serving as companions to Princess Kundavai as a rare and invaluable blessing. Now, as Princess Kundavai stepped ashore taking only one of their number with her, bidding the others farewell with a promise of a swift return, expressions of both disappointment and envy flickered in their eyes. Waiting ready on the shore was a chariot drawn by horses. "Vanathi, step into the chariot," Kundavai instructed her companion. As soon as Vanathi had climbed aboard, Kundavai followed suit. The chariot then sped away. "Sister, where are we headed? May I ask?" Vanathi inquired. "Why would I not tell you?" "We are going to the home of the astrologer in Kudanthai," Kundavai replied. "But why are we going to the astrologer's house, sister? What is it that we intend to ask him about?" "What else? We are going to ask about you. For the past few months, you have seemed utterly dazed, as if in a trance, and your body has been wasting away. We are going specifically to ask when this dazed state will lift and when your health will be restored." "Sister, you are truly a soul of great virtue. However, there is nothing at all wrong with my health. Please, do not go there just to ask about me. Let us turn back." "No, my dear girl, absolutely not. We are not going to ask about you. I am going there to ask about myself." "What are you planning to ask and find out about yourself? What do you intend to learn from the fortune teller?" "I am going to ask whether I will get married. or if I will spend my entire life remaining a maiden until the very end. Sister, why bother consulting an astrologer about this? Shouldn't you simply consult your own heart? All you have to do is give a nod of approval. Wouldn't kings from all 56 kingdoms, spanning from the Himalayas in the north to Cape Comorin in the south, come rushing here in fierce competition? Why, they would come even from lands across the seas. Which valiant prince is destined to be granted the privilege of taking your hand in marriage? Surely that is a matter for you to decide. Vanathi, even if I were to grant that everything you say is true, there remains one obstacle. If I were to marry a prince from any other kingdom, wouldn't I be obliged to move to his country? I have absolutely no desire to leave this Chola land, watered by the flowing Ponni River, to go live in a foreign land. In fact, I have taken a solemn vow never to leave this country. That need not be an obstacle. Any prince fortunate enough to marry you would remain your devoted slave, prostrate at your feet. If you wish for him to remain right here, he would gladly stay. Aha! Are you suggesting that we bring a prince from a foreign land and keep him right here in our own town, much like catching a mouse and tying it up inside one's own lap? Do you have any idea what manner of troubles and complications would arise from such a situation? Regardless, isn't it inevitable that those born as women must, one day, eventually enter into marriage? No scripture has ever mandated such a thing, Vanathi. Look at Avayad. Did she not live for a great many years as a revered poetess who remained a maiden forever? Ah, but Avayad was transformed into an old woman in her very youth through a divine boon. You, however, have not met with such a fate. Very well. If I am indeed to set out to marry, I shall wed none other than an orphaned warrior from this very Chola land. Such a man would possess no kingdom of his own. He would never demand that I leave with him to reside in a foreign land. Instead, he would remain right here, within the Chola country itself. Sister, in that case, you would never leave this Chola land, would you? Never. Not for all eternity. I would not leave, even if I were offered the throne of the celestial realm itself. Only today has my heart finally found peace. And what is the reason for that? If you were to depart for a foreign land, I would be bound to follow you. I could not bear to be separated from you. Yet, at the same time, I lack the heart to tear myself away from this fertile and glorious Chola land. But if you were to marry, wouldn't you be compelled to leave eventually? I have no intention of ever marrying at all, sister. Oh, you rascal! Whatever became of all the advice you so earnestly preached to me? For a fool like yourself? You sly little minx, I see right through you. Do you really think you can pull the wool over my eyes? You harbor no true devotion for the Chola land itself. The Chola land you truly yearn for, is it not the one that has marched forth, bearing sword and spear, to wage war against the land of Izum? Did you truly imagine that I was oblivious to the secrets of your heart? Sister, oh sister, do you truly believe me to be so simple-minded? Look, where is the sun? And where is the morning dewdrop? What purpose is served if a mere dewdrop were to aspire to the friendship of the sun? It is true, the dewdrop is indeed tiny, and the sun is indeed vast and resplendent. Yet, does not that very dewdrop manage to capture and hold that magnificent sun, imprisoning it within its own tiny depths? Vanathi asked in a voice filled with enthusiasm and curiosity. Is that truly what you are saying? Are you suggesting that even a dewdrop can reach the sun? Then, suddenly, a wave of despondency washed over her. The dewdrop yearns. It even captures the sun within itself. But what is the result? A short while later, it receives its just punishment. It dries up in the heat and vanishes without a trace. That is incorrect, Vanathi. Recognizing the dewdrop's desire, the sun draws it into union with himself. His intention is simply that the dewdrop, the maiden he desires, should not be seen by the eyes of other men. Once night falls, he releases her once more. The dewdrop that had vanished returns to rise again, does it not? Sister, you are saying all this merely to console me. In that case, admit that there is indeed a sorrow weighing on your mind. For all these days, you insisted adamantly that there was absolutely nothing amiss. That is precisely why I am taking you to see the astrologer in Kudanthai. If there is a sorrow in my heart, what is the use of going to an astrologer to ask about it? Vanathi asked, heaving a deep sigh. The home of the Kudanthai Astrologer was situated in a secluded spot in a corner of the city, near the temple of goddess Kalki. The chariot reached the house by skirting the city's perimeter rather than entering its interior. Observing how the charioteer drove the vehicle there, swiftly and without the slightest hesitation, it appeared evident that he must have traveled that very route many times before. At the entrance of the house, the astrologer and one of his disciples were waiting in readiness. The astrologer welcomed and received his visitors with profound reverence and hospitality. "O Lady, Mother who has come in the unified form of both Goddess Saraswati and Goddess Lakshmi, welcome, welcome. It is indeed a blessing bestowed upon this humble hut of mine that you have sought it out once again," he said. "Oh, astrologer, surely no one else would come seeking you here at this hour, would they?" asked Kundavai. "They will not come, Mother. These days, hardly anyone comes seeking me. People flock to astrologers only when hardships abound in the world. But now, under the benevolent reign of your father, Sundarachola, the subjects know no suffering whatsoever. Everyone lives happily, enjoying comfort, prosperity, and every manner of wealth. Why then would they come seeking me?" asked the astrologer. "So, are you implying that I have come seeking you only because I, too, have encountered some hardship?" "No, Your Highness, certainly not. What blind fool would ever claim that hardship has befallen the royal daughter of the king of Payayarai, a kingdom overflowing with the 9 treasures of wealth? Since the people of this world are now entirely free of suffering, it is this poor astrologer alone who faces hardship, for there is no one left to look after him. Therefore you have come, like the goddess Ambika herself, to alleviate the suffering of this humble soul. Mother, please grace my humble cottage with your presence. To keep you standing out here any longer would be a grave act of disrespect on my part." The astrologer spoke with charming wit. Then, with the astrologer leading the way, Kundavai and Vanathi entered the house. The astrologer turned to his disciple and warned, "My boy, stand guard vigilantly at the entrance. Should anyone happen to approach, even by mistake, do not let them enter. My ladies, pray tell me, what is the specific purpose of your visit?" he asked. "Astrologer, could you not simply discern that for yourself through the power of your own astrology?" asked Kundavai. "As you wish, Mother," replied the astrologer. Closing his eyes, he spent a brief moment chanting a mantra. Then, opening his eyes, he looked at them and said, My lady, you have come here today primarily to inquire about this young maiden's horoscope. Does the grace of Goddess Parasakti speak the truth in this regard? Aha! Magnificent! How can I even begin to describe the extent of your powers? Yes, astrologer, I did indeed come to inquire about this young woman. She arrived at the Payayarai Palace a year ago. For 8 months following her arrival, she lived there in high spirits and great cheer. Among all my companions, she was the most lively, full of laughter, playfulness, and vivacity. Yet for the past 4 months, something seems to have befallen her. She appears listless and weary quite often. She seems utterly dazed, as if in a trance. She has completely forgotten how to smile. She insists that there is nothing physically wrong with her. If her parents were to arrive tomorrow and ask about her condition, I honestly would not know what answer to give them. Mother, is this not the cherished daughter of the Princess of Kodumbalur? And is her name not Vanathi? Asked the astrologer. Indeed, you seem to know everything. I even possess the horoscope of this young princess. I have kept it preserved. Please bear with me for just a moment. Having said this, the astrologer opened an old box lying beside him and rummaged through it for a while. Then he took out a horoscope chart from it and examined it carefully.
Hi everyone, if you enjoyed this episode, please like and share this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe for the next chapter of Ponniyin Selvan.